Hi guys, in this tutorial I'm going to be introducing a new concept to you. In the last 4 or 5 tutorials, we've been looking at string functions. So in this one, we're going to be looking at grouping or aggregate functions. It depends on what you want to call it. Let me quickly say this that this tutorial, this course is not about definition of terms. Is hands-on. You need to know how to do it. Okay, so we're going to be looking at introduction, introduction to grouping, and if you want, you can say aggregate functions. Most of these functions are, are applied to numbers. That is, columns that have data types of maybe integers or any number data types like floats. And most of the times, this group of functions would return number to you. Could be an integer, it could be a float, any kind of number. Okay. Remember when we were looking at string functions, what we used to retrieve or what the query would return to you when you apply a string function will be string. But for grouping or aggregate functions, what you are expecting to get from this when you write a query with grouping or aggregate functions, what you expect to get is number, maybe integer or float. Okay, and these functions are used for statistical summary. Okay, we have max function. Max is an example of an aggregate function. We have main function. We have sum function. We have count function. We have average function. So these are examples of grouping or aggregate functions. Let's look at what we can achieve with these functions. Please bear at the back of your mind that this is just a gentle introduction to this function. So we're not going to be writing serious or complex query at this point. This is just to show you what these functions can do. And in the next tutorial, we're going to be looking at how to combine these functions with another syntax or with another SQL keyword. And at that point, it's going to make more sense. We can write more meaningful queries with the function. But in this tutorial, it's just a kind of gentle introduction as to what these functions are. Let me do a quick select star from employees. Okay, quick select star, and I'm going to comment this. So I want to run select star from employees. So we have all these columns. So let's say I want to know if I run this again. Let me run this again. I want you to take note of what we have down here at the bottom. 1000 rows affected. By now, you should know that we have 1000 rows in this employees table. We have 1000 records. So it means we have 1000 employees in this table. But how do I count the number of employees? What if I need to count, if I have millions of records, if I have billions of records in a table, how do I count it? Do I need to start from one and keep counting down and say two? Or do I need to scroll scroll down until I get to the uh, millions, the end of the millions of record that I have, or trillions of record. Because in real world, in an enterprise environment, you're going to have more than 1,000 record. You're going to have much more than this. So how do you count? If you need to count something, I want to know the number of records, or maybe you want to know the number of males, or maybe you want to know the number of females, you want to know the number of departments and stuff like that. What can you do? So the first one we're going to be looking at is the count function. So if I want to know, if I don't want to start reading from one up to the last record that says 1000, what I can do is to say select count. This is a function, and I'm going to repeat again. Anytime you are using a function, whichever column you want to apply your function on, you need to put that column in parentheses. So for this one, you can say count all. Count star means all, right? So I can put this in parentheses and say select count all from employees. When I run this, it gives me 1000. So this saves you the headache of needing to count your row one by one. In fact, you won't be able to do that in real world environment where you have millions of records. What if you are not counting all your rows? What if you are counting a category of data set that you have? It depends on the kind of table you're working with. You might need to count anything as part of your report in an attempt to provide or to come up with a report that meets business requirements. You might need to count. Okay, so this function is handy for you. So now we said select count all from employees. Then we have 1000. I can apply this on any of the column too. I'm going to go back to my select star. I'm going to run, excuse me, my select star again so that we can see. And I'm going to remove this first line so we can have some space. So I want to run select star from employees just to show you that you can actually use any of the columns to do this. I can use employee ID because if I count this, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, and if I keep counting, I'm going to count from 1 to 1000. So I can put my employee ID in this parenthesis too and say select employee ID from employees. Please note that I'm not running select star now. I'm only running select count employee ID from employees. That's what I'm running right now. We still have 1000. Okay, so feel free to use any of the columns. And some people also do this. You can just put, instead of putting select count, you can just do this. Say select count 1. It's still going to give you 1000. But my personal preference, this is what I do. I do select count all. Okay, this is what I do. If you don't want to do select count all, you want to use a column, I would advise that you use a primary key field. Why? Because you know this is unique. You're not going to have duplicate record in this one. You can't have two employees with the same employee ID. So if you don't want to use asterisk, you don't want to use all, then you can look for the primary key field to put in this parenthesis. Please avoid using any of these because we can have three employees bearing the same name. If I do select distinct employee ID from here, it's going to give me 1000. But if I do select distinct first name from here, you see that some of the records will be missing. Why? Because we have employees bearing or answering the same first name. Okay, so my advice again, you want to use select count, do select count star, or use a primary key field because you are sure that it doesn't have duplicate, is unique to each row. Okay, so that's how to use counts. But what if I want to know the maximum salary in this table? Because if I come to, I'm going to change this to, let's just let's just look at maybe first name. Let's select first name and hire date, salary from employees. So let's so select first name, hire date, salary from employees. We want just 3 columns and let's run. Okay, we have 1000 rows. That is, we have 1000 employees. What if I want to know if I order this salary descending? It means I want this output to be rearranged in such a way that the highest salary will be the first one that will be displayed. Okay, so I can come down and say order by salary descending. So I want to see the highest salary first, followed by the next one, and then the one that will be at the bottom will be the lowest salary. So let's run. If you don't understand how to use order by clause, please refer to one of the previous tutorials. We've looked at all these in previous tutorials. Okay, this is a playlist, is a series of tutorials. So if you are just coming across this video and you are like, so how did they get here? Well, we've been on this for close to a month. Look for some of the previous tutorials and then you can be on the same page with us. So let's run. Now you see this is the highest salary because we are ordering by salary in descending order. So we have the highest salary. But is there a function that I can use to get the highest salary in this table or in any table? The answer is yes. I don't want to do all this. I want to just use a function and I'll be able to get the highest salary in this table. Okay. The way to do that is to say select, and I'm going to remove this order by. We don't want to do all this. So I can say select, let me come down to do that. So I'm going to comment this. I'm not running this right now. Let's write another query. So I can say select max salary from employees. Let's run. Select max salary from employees. You see, we have it. This is the highest salary in this table. What if I want minimum salary? Let's put it side by side. Uh, okay, let's do minimum first, then we can put it side by side. So select minimum salary from employees. Watch that this is going to change. The header is going to change to minimum, and this is going to change to the least salary in employees table. So now we are using minimum. So the minimum salary, the least paid guy is earning 20,542. If I change it back to max, the highest paid guy is earning 166. Okay, so that's how to do it. We can see these side by side as well. So I can put comma to end column 1. And here I want to see mean salary. So I do this. So now I'm expecting two columns. The first one will show the maximum salary. The second one will show the minimum salary. From where? From employees. Let's run this and see what we have. So this is the maximum salary. This is the minimum salary. Okay. So can I use this for maybe higher date as well? So I want to see the the date that the first employee or the first date we started hiring people. So I can have max hire date and the mean hire date. Okay, we want to see maximum hire date and minimum hire date. Can see this side by side. So we have it. Max is 2016, that is 2016. Then 2003. So the date range that we have for hire date in this table is between 2003 and 2016. So the first guy was hired on this date, and the last guy we hired was hired on this date. Okay, so we have looked at max, we have looked at mean, we have looked at count. So let's look at maybe average. I'm going to remove this. So let's look at sum now. What if I want to sum all the salary? We do let's select salary first. Select salary from employees. I only want to select salary column from employees. So we have all this salary and we have 1,000 employees. You see they have different salary. If we keep scrolling down, we have different salaries. So what if I want to sum all the salary together? I want to add them together, addition. So do I need to be doing select this plus this for 1,000 or for a million or a billion records? That's not possible. It's not efficient. So there's a function to do that. So I can say select sum salary. So what I'm saying is add all the salary together for me. So if I run this, excuse me. So if I run this, let's see what we have. Addition of all the salary. So if you add all the 1,000 employee salaries together, it's going to give us, this is 91.57 million. So you see how powerful these functions are. You can get a lot of insight from your data using these functions. Max, mean, sum, count, and these are very powerful and useful. So you can't do without them. If this is going to take you time to go over and over again, please do. And I said that this is just a gentle introduction. It is because we're going to be combining it with other useful keywords or clause, and that's when they really become powerful. For now, I'm just showing you the basic way of using them. The way you're going to be using them at work is more powerful than this, is a bit more complicated than this. Is not this basic. You're going to be combining it with other columns for for very insightful reports. Okay, so let's look at what if I want to know the average salary. I want to take the average of all salary, the 1,000 salary that we have. So I will just change this to average. Select average salary from employees. And when I run this, this is what we have. 91,571. So this is not presentable. I don't like the way this is displayed. So what we can do is to round off this. And there is a function to do that. So I can just come here and say select round. I can round this and put parentheses here. So I don't want to, I want it to be rounded off to whole number or something that makes more sense. Okay, so you can use this round function. Select round average salary from employees. So let's do this and see. You see, now we are fine. So because of this, you can just use this round. It's also a function that you can use when you have floating numbers like that and you don't like it. So you can use round to fix that. Okay, so let's write one statement that will show all these functions. Okay, so I'm going to remove all this. As a matter of fact, I'm going to remove everything. So let's write one single query. So we want to know max salary. So select max salary. We also want to know um, minimum salary, mean salary. We want to know average salary, average salary. Which one again? We want to know sum of all the salary, sum salary, and maybe count all the records here. So can say count all. So 5 columns: max salary, mean salary, average salary, sum salary, and count all. That is count all the records. Where are all these coming from? From employees. If you like, you can break this down to put it on separate lines. Okay, so max salary, mean salary, average salary, sum salary, and counter from employees. Let's run. So we have 5 columns: max, mean, average, sum, and count. We have 1,000 records. The highest paid guy is earning 166,976. The lowest paid guy is earning 20,542. The average of all the salaries in employee table is 15. This should be more. Okay, 91,571. And the sum of all the salaries, if we had everything together, is 91.571,594. And the count of all the records, the number of employees that we have, is 1,000. You see how powerful this can be. And we only have these lines of query. We can even put all these in a single line. So this is not what you want to joke with. Take this very seriously because it's really going to help you. If you can, if you can understand this concept very well, as we move up gradually, we're going to be using them a lot. And you need this to come up with useful report that will be useful to the business. Okay, so we have them. If you want, you can alias this. We have looked at alias in one of the previous tutorials. So I can say max salary as, I can call it whatever I want. Maybe highest salary. Maybe I don't like this column name, so I want it to show highest salary. I can do this as lowest salary, mean salary. I want to be lowest. I can change this to lowest salary. And average salary, maybe I can change it to as average salary. Sum of salary, I can change it to maybe total total salary and counts. Maybe I can change this to as total records. Oh, yes, total record. So we are aliasing each column so that we can have some proper column names here. So let's run and see what we have. You see, we have it: high salary, lowest salary, average salary, total salary, and total record. Okay. So in the next tutorial, we're going to be looking at how to use, how to make the best use of all these functions, grouping or aggregate functions, whatever you want to call it. So we're going to be looking at how to make best use of them, how to combine them with something else so that we can use them, we can leverage on their flexibility to build insightful reports for the business. So if you need to watch this over and over, please don't hesitate to do so. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one.